Time now for a look back at the week's political headlines.
Joining us now is the host of the Political Report, Paul Lisnek. Hello.
Another busy week.
Oh, it's always a busy week, it seems, these days. Now, this week, City Council voted for a ceasefire in Gaza, and Mayor Brandon Johnson had to break the tie. What's the political fallout with that? Why do this in the first place?
Well, I think it happened because there was a lot of pressure on City Council to take a position and do something. I think the way it got handled from all reports is a bit uncomfortable in that, as you know, it was a tie vote that Mayor Johnson then broke the tie. Except the way he got to the tie vote was telling two of his deputies that if you're not going to vote for this thing, please leave the chambers. And so two of them stepped out to not be around for the vote because they would have been no votes and that would have killed it. And that gave the tie, and that's when he put his vote in. So a little bit, political in terms of how that got handled. But of course, within the next day, Governor Pritzker is out making a statement saying the problem with this, and we know Alderwoman Silverstein wasn't happy about it. The problem with this is there's no recognition of what started all this on October 7th. So sure, everybody wants peace, everybody wants all that, but it's hard to do so without at least an acknowledgement of what happened.
A recognition of what happened.
Exactly, and what's going to happen because of all this? I mean, nothing. The White House is not going to look at this and go, oh, well, we better do something now.
So why do it?
Because there was just pressure on them to take a position. You have people in the galleries. It was just a political move in response to public pressure, I think.
Right. Well, on the national stage, let's talk about the impeachment case against the Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas over the border crisis. Where do you expect this to go? What is the validity of all of this?
So it'll go nowhere in the Senate. Absolutely nowhere in the Senate. And because first of all, what's really interesting, so nobody has been impeached in terms of a House member, a cabinet secretary since 1876. I mean, this is just not what that provision was intended to be used for. It's a political move by Republicans in the House. I think it's an attempt, and being pushed, I think, by former President Trump, who would like to see this happen. He'd like to see President Biden impeached, but there doesn't seem to be movement in that direction. So they're going to impeach somebody, and this is the direction they're going. The problem is that if they're not happy with the policies of the Biden administration, all Mayorkas does is enforce. That's his job. So the problem is one of policy. But secondly, it's also interesting that at this very same moment, as you know, the Senate is in the process, we're going to get the details over the weekend, of doing a migrant bill, a border bill to shut things down, well, to allow shutting things down and do what they need to do. But the House has said through the Speaker, it's dead on arrival. Well, what are you going after Mayorkas for if you don't want to take a look at a border bill, which according to the most conservative senators in the Senate say, this thing is the best bill we've seen in decades, but you're not going to even look at it. That tells me your move is political, and it's not one based on legitimate moves when it comes to the secretary.
We've learned today that the D.C. election interference case against Trump has been postponed.
Officially now,
and it was supposed to be March 4th, right? So what does this mean for his other legal challenges, do you think?
Well, here's the thing. There's still so much unknown, Micah, because until the D.C. Court of Appeals rules on the cases that they have before them as to whether he's immune from all these charges, and then so many things can happen. It would take us 15 minutes to go through all of that. The bottom line is the court can say, no, he doesn't have immunity, but then he can ask for the whole D.C. Court en banc to hear it. He can take it up to the Supreme Court. He will do that. And by the way, to go to the Supreme Court, he's got 90 days. So 90 days, and the government has another 30. You get yourself to the fall pretty quickly in that direction.
November will be here before you know it.
Yeah. On the other hand, the D.C. Court can come out in a very strong position. Look, I know one of the judges dealing with this, Karen Henderson. I've known her for many years, and she was a George H.W. Bush appointee, conservative member. But I'm thinking she's trying to, as the chief judge in that situation, head judge, I think she's trying to come up with a decision that will be sort of bulletproof, so that the Supreme Court might look and say, we don't even need to take it, because the notion of them finding that there's immunity, that's just not going to happen. It's just nowhere to be found in the law.
So many moving parts to all of that.
Very much so. Oh, so the only criminal case you might see, and it's surprising, but it's the hush money case. Remember that one? All the payments? That is the one set for about March 20th. Stormy Daniels. That's the one that may actually make it. Although Alvin Bragg, who's the prosecutor, he's not calling it the Stormy Daniels, and it's to him it's an election interference case, and that's the way he's going to present it and pitch it. That may be the first, maybe the only one that gets played out before the election.
Here in Illinois, the election board decided to leave Trump on the primary ballot. It's in the courts, and then meantime it's in the Supreme Court. Sort all that in the few seconds we have left here?
So the Supreme Court will deal with this week. There will be arguments. They will probably come out with a decision very quickly after that. They understand they're up to especially an early March kind of deadline with regard to ballots being printed and stuff. So I think what happened in Illinois, you had the Electoral Board said, well, we don't think he needs to be on the ballot, but it's not our purview. We don't have jurisdiction. So let the courts handle it. This week, there'll be arguments in court. Actually, it's on Wednesday, and it's not even going to be the argument. So I think what's going to happen here is the courts are going to buy time, wait for the Supreme Court to rule. That will be a guidance as to what ultimately the Supreme Court, what ultimately Illinois and a bunch of other states are going to do. They want to all hear from the Supreme Court.
What's on your show this week?
Hey, we're going to deal with this migrant crisis coming up this weekend, and so joining me will be Illinois State Minority Leader John Curran. He'll talk about what's going on as the Republican leader in the Senate, and Congresswoman Delia Ramirez will come on. This is sort of a critical issue for her. And then I always like to talk about the midday interviews I do. And next week on Friday, I am going to interview Dr. Makaziwe Mandela. That is Nelson Mandela's daughter. That's the book she just put out. It's a coffee table book because February 9th is the anniversary of his release after 27 years in prison of coming out. So she's agreed to talk, and we're going to talk a little bit about that book and her life with her father, Nelson Mandela. I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, guys.